What happens when one of cinema's most mysterious minds decides to describe music as dogs on PCP? That's right. David Lynch, the visionary behind Twin Peaks, Mulholland Drive, and Blue Velvet, has done it again. In a recent interview, Lynch called his band's sound like dogs on PCP, and somehow that description fits perfectly. It's bizarre, it's unsettling, and it's completely Lynchian. For decades, Lynch has blurred the lines between sound and vision, creating worlds that hum with eerie melodies and distorted rhythms. Whether it's Dean Stockwell lip-syncing to Roy Orbison or Rebecca Del Rio's haunting rendition of Crying, music in a Lynch film doesn't just accompany the story, it is the story. And now, with his industrial rock project Blue Bob, Lynch brings that surreal energy directly into your headphones. So what exactly does Dogs on PCP sound like? Let's dive into the strange magic, electrifying world of David Lynch's music. To understand David Lynch's obsession with sound, you have to step inside his cinematic universe, where nothing is ever as it seems. Every hum, whisper, and eerie drone in his films serves a purpose. Think of Twin Peaks, that dreamy yet deeply unsettling theme by Angelo Badalamenti. It's beautiful, yes, but it also feels like a warning, a signal that something dark is lurking beneath the surface. Lynch once said that sound is 50% of a film, but in his world, it feels more like 80%. His use of music transforms mundane moments into psychological puzzles. In Blue Velvet, when Dean Stockwell performs In Dreams, it's hypnotic and terrifying at the same time, the kind of scene that sticks in your mind for years. For Lynch, music isn't just background noise, it's a portal. And when he finally decided to create his own music, it wasn't a surprise. It was destiny. David Lynch didn't just dabble in music. He dove headfirst into it. His 2001 album Blue Bob, created with sound engineer and musician John Neff, was a product of pure curiosity and creative madness. The duo spent countless late nights in Lynch's recording studio, experimenting with industrial sounds, feedback loops, and distorted guitar riffs. The result? Something raw, haunting, and mechanical, a soundscape that felt alive, pulsing, almost breathing. Lynch said he wanted music that sounded like machines feeling emotions. It wasn't about melody, it was about atmosphere. Blue Bob became an auditory mirror of his films, dark, beautiful, and a little dangerous. Tracks like Go Get Some and Mountains Falling even found their way into Mulholland Drive, blurring the line between his cinematic and musical worlds. For Lynch, it wasn't enough to show emotion. He wanted to build it from sound itself. Listening to Blue Bob feels like driving through an empty city at 3 a.m. Flickering streetlights, distant thunder, the hum of something mechanical under your skin. Lynch called the sound Dogs on PCP, and once you hear it, you understand why. It's chaotic, aggressive, and unfiltered, yet strangely hypnotic. Every beat feels like it's clawing at the edge of control. Songs like Bad Night move slowly, almost drunkenly, with distorted guitars grinding against heavy drums, while City of Dreams pulses like a migraine come to life. It's industrial rock, but it's also cinematic poetry, a fusion of steel, sweat, and surrealism. Lynch has always been fascinated by how sound can shape emotion, and here he proves it. There's no safety, no structure, no comfort. Blue Bob is less an album and more an experience, a sonic descent into the mechanical heart of David Lynch's imagination. Creating Blue Bob wasn't easy. Lynch isn't a trained musician, but he approaches sound the same way he approaches film. Instinct first, rules later. He and John Neff would spend hours recording noises from machines, tools, and guitars, then layering them until they transformed into something new. Lynch once said he loved the feeling of machines with souls, and that's exactly what Blue Bob became. Metal and melody intertwined. Working with Neff gave Lynch the confidence to explore music as another form of storytelling. "John is a performer, and we had a killer band," he said proudly. But even with talented collaborators, bringing Blue Bob to life wasn't without challenges. Translating those raw, gritty studio sessions into live performances felt almost impossible. Lynch, who thrives in solitude, had to face the unpredictability of live sound. Yet for him, that chaos was part of the art, another layer of beautiful discomfort. Performing live was never David Lynch's comfort zone. He's a director who crafts worlds in controlled spaces, where every hum and flicker of light is intentional. But with Blue Bob, he had to surrender that control. "Performing is a whole different trip," he admitted. "In the studio, I can live inside the sound. On stage, it's alive, and sometimes it bites back." The killer band Lynch and Neff assembled wasn't just technically skilled. They understood his vision to create something unsettling, powerful, and emotional. Audiences didn't always know how to react. Some were entranced, others confused, but no one left unmoved. The music didn't aim to please, it aimed to provoke. Lynch once compared live performance to walking through a dream where you can't predict what comes next. It's messy, unpredictable, and thrilling. Everything that makes his art so uniquely human. For Lynch, Blue Bob wasn't just an experiment. It was an extension of his lifelong obsession with contrasts. Light and shadow, beauty and decay, silence and noise. He once said, "There's incredible music in the sound of a broken engine." That philosophy runs through every note of Blue Bob. It's about finding rhythm in chaos, harmony in distortion. The same way his films reveal beauty in horror, his music exposes emotion in industrial noise. Tracks like Mountains Falling carry that heavy, metallic heartbeat. It's brutal but strangely comforting, like confronting a nightmare and realizing you've survived it. Through his collaboration with Neff, Lynch discovered that sound could tell stories as vividly as his camera ever did. You can feel his cinematic fingerprints all over the album, smoky, surreal, full of tension. Listening to it feels like stepping inside his subconscious, where reality bends and sound becomes emotion. In the end, Blue Bob wasn't made for charts or mainstream listeners. It was made for dreamers, for those who love the strange, the raw, and the beautiful. Lynch's description, like dogs on PCP, might sound wild, but it's his way of celebrating the untamed power of creativity. He's always been chasing that feeling, the moment when art becomes unpredictable, when it takes on a life of its own. Whether through film, painting, or sound, Lynch invites us to enter that unknown and just feel. And that's what makes him such a singular artist. Someone who doesn't just create stories, but experiences that live inside you long after they end. Blue Bob might not be a household name, but it's a hidden chapter in the Lynch universe that reveals everything about his restless imagination. So next time you hear those grinding beats and eerie echoes, don't just listen. Dream with them. That's what David Lynch would want.